Welcome back to Chronicles on the Focus, the podcast that dives deep into history's most fascinating figures and events. I'm your host, Bob, and with me as always, is the effervescent Alice.
Hey everyone, ready to unravel some seriously juicy historical gossip, Bob? Because today, we're tackling a legend, Ulysses S. Grant, president, general, and apparently, a surprisingly artistic dude.
That's right, Alice. Ulysses S. Grant, the man who led the Union to victory in the Civil War and then somehow ended up in the Oval Office. But let's start with something less well known: his name. He wasn't born Ulysses S. Grant. His actual name was Hiram Ulysses Grant. Can you believe that?
Hiram Ulysses sounds like a character from a Dickens novel. Apparently, Representative Hamer, who got him into West Point, misspelled his name on his nomination papers, and U.S. Grant stuck, making him sound like a government agency all on his own. And those initials led to another nickname, Sam, because US also stands for Uncle Sam. How wonderfully bureaucratic and accidental.
And speaking of West Point, Grant wasn't exactly the top of his class, you know. He graduated 21st out of 39, but he did have a knack for something pretty unexpected: horseback riding. He was apparently quite the equestrian expert.
Oh, and get this, Bob, while at West Point, he secretly studied art under Robert Walter Weir, a romantic painter. 9 of his artworks still exist. Imagine, a future president and Civil War general secretly honing his artistic skills. That's way more interesting than any other president's hidden talent. I bet he painted really intense battle scenes. Now, that's a hidden talent that's a little intense.
Indeed, but then came the Civil War, and his military genius really shone through. Vicksburg, Appomattox, these weren't just battles. They were turning points that changed the course of history. He even became General of the Armies, the highest rank ever held in the U.S. Army.
And the presidency? A bumpy ride, to say the least. Reconstruction, economic woes, scandals, it was a roller coaster. But he did manage to get the 15th Amendment passed, granting African American men the right to vote, a monumental achievement. Plus, he was the first president to circumnavigate the globe after leaving office.
Yes, quite the globetrotter. And his memoirs, written while he was battling throat cancer, a posthumous bestseller. Talk about a legacy. It's ironic that his presidency was somewhat overshadowed by later historical revisions, but his post-presidency actions and his memoirs cemented his place in history.
So, there you have it, folks. Ulysses S. Grant, not just a general and a president, but a horseman, an artist, and a man whose life was filled with as much drama as any great novel. A truly fascinating figure. Thanks for tuning in to Chronicles on the Focus.
Until next time.